Hi everyone, it's me, it's the Jabba in the Hut TV. I know that doesn't make sense, but listen, I've been away for quite a long time. I've been doing stuff in the hut, I've been doing renovations. As you can see, the hut is now bigger and it's in a more kind of bigger situation than before. So yeah, I've been renovating. um, so yeah, just basically making the place bigger. I've been away for quite some time because obviously I've just been working away. I've been doing this. I wanted to get this done before summer came in. And yeah, that was it. So I put all my focus onto it and a wee bit of help from my wife and everybody else along the way. So thank you very much for getting this done and for coming and having a little drink with me in my bar hut, as I call it. But yeah, this is the Jabba in the Hut. This is a new way of how it's going to be. We have a new background, all that kind of stuff. It's just the same, really. All the things that I love in this hut. And I love watching the sports in here as well. So yeah, it's great. So yeah, on to Prime Matters. What the hell has happened this season? It's been amazing. It's been such a good season for Celtic, but it's also been such a confusing and frustrating and nobody thought we could ever win a league this season because of how bad we were in the middle of the season to how it's became now. We just clawed ourselves back in there and we managed to win a double. Blows my mind. It blows my actual mind. So yeah, we go into this obviously this season coming away from this being champions again. When obviously I myself I had my doubts because I thought Hearts were just going to take it. I thought Hearts were in a great position to take it and to take the league, and it would have been well deserved, obviously, because that they had better form than Celtic and all that jive. But at the same time, Celtic nearly lost it because of the actions of the board. Now, yes, okay, I'm going to go on about them later, but not right now. Right now is a time to celebrate because at the end of the day, we offered Martin O'Neill the job back and he accepted. I'm ecstatic about it. I'm really, really happy about this appointment. The only reason why I'm happy because of this is because we absolutely have no clue what to do in the manager realm, to be honest. I mean, I think that board have got managers to a point where if they're looking at the Celtic job, they're not going to take it. Because at the end of the day, they're not getting backed, which every manager leaves a job and says that when they're leaving a job because they're not getting backed to do the things that they want to do. They want to be able to build the club up to another stature. And obviously that's why that is also why certain managers of certain pedigrees leave jobs. Just like your Brendan Rodgers, probably just like your Ange Postecoglou's, and stuff like that. Just like your Gordon Strattons, that kind of thing. But not saying that Gordon Strachan ever said that, like I'm just picking names out my head. Celtic has always been one of these clubs where they don't seem to obviously upgrade much. I think they're just quite happy with their history and what they can do domestically. For me, I think if we had to go and offer any other manager the job at Celtic, they would say no. They would say no because the board just aren't supportive at all. They give you your job, they give you the team to start your managerial career up. They'll go and buy players, yeah, okay, but that's your team for the next 3 years. And that's exactly the way I feel Celtic have went again. And the worst thing is like, I don't want to come on here and be all doom and gloom about the board, because the thing is, like, they got Martin back and we won a league and a cup, which makes it a double, which no Celtic fan was even guessing would happen this season, and it's happened. So yeah, thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much, Sean Maloney. Thank you very much to Folleringham and to McManus and to even Gavin Stratton for getting the players up for this in the split, because if they couldn't win every game, then the league was going to Hearts. The league could have went to Hearts at Motherwell, but we managed to claw it back. And I know there was controversy there and all that kind of thing, but come on, it was a fucking handball. Anyway, so yeah, we come. That's a point. That's a point that was back in history books, and it'll be talked about for years and years to come. But then everybody went quiet about it because it was justified to be a handball. But again, that's the past. This is the present. Right now, we're celebrating the fact that Martin O'Neill has took the job on again. For the third time this season, he has took the job on again. And I am thankful for that. And thank you, Martin O'Neill, for being with us. I really, really wanted, in a way, I kind of wanted Martin O'Neill to kind of walk into the sunset and, you know, he's done his job, he's won us those 2 titles, and now we can go on and look to the future maybe. But if the board don't have a plan to go into the future, and if they just want to hire managers that have been, you know, that are the forefront of something political, which to me, I don't really get. I don't understand it. Because to me, I just think football managers are football managers. They come in solely for the purpose of football. They don't come in solely for the purpose of like genocides or anything like that. They're not part of that. They are football related, and that is basically it. But again, that's just my opinion. So yeah, Martin O'Neill is back, and that is it. And he's going to be here for a year, maybe another year, if they still can't get the ball rolling with maybe a new manager. For me, it's very, very suspect to be like, if Sean Maloney's going to take that role on with Martin O'Neill, then it might be Sean Maloney. And do you know something? I was saying that to people. I was like, how come they just didn't offer the job to Sean Maloney? Because at the end of the day, I think every Celtic fans maybe went, do you know what? Maybe he could take a turn, because he's proved that, you know, his tactics have worked with the Celtic players right now. So, you know, he's not really come in and changed much. He's just kind of just made them a little bit more organised and balanced and stuff like that, because it's been a really, really confusing season for the players. There's players that obviously want to leave the club, and they will leave the club. And we all know who those players are. Who will potentially leave the club this season. In fact, I've already heard that there's already 3 out the door. You know, obviously, Palmer's away. We've got money for him. We've got Welsh away. But the one thing that is away is Inamura, who we never really got to see much of, and that's a shame. When I thought he played a couple of games, I thought he was okay. You know, I thought there was like maybe a bit of progression there. But obviously, the people that are in the coaching department don't see that in him, so that was a shame. And he went back to Japan, but fair dues to the boy. He came, he tried it, and it didn't work out, unfortunately. So he's away back to Japan for 1.5, which obviously gives us, in my opinion, it gives us about 5 million in the bank already. But again, that'll go to the bonuses, won't it? So that's just a crazy thought. But yeah, so we come on to that. Obviously, we need to talk about the Robbie Keane situation as well, and the drawn out scenario of not offering it to Martin O'Neill straight after the cup. And I know people say about this mentality of just offering people jobs in the showers. I think they're taking that from the Neil Lennon stages, because to me, when Neil Lennon came in, it wasn't impressive. He just kind of got on with it, and yeah, we won a treble, you know what I mean? But that was during what I think O'Neill had to deal with at that point, and I think people don't realise this, was he had to deal with human beings. He had to deal with the COVID situation. He had to deal with like people not being happy with the board, losing against Rangers, you know. But I think people have to kind of think to themselves, well, he did put a lot on his shoulders, and I know at one point genuinely just wanted Neil Lennon to leave. But with a board like that have no kind of linear, they just have a linear thought in their minds, whereas just to go the one way and not go different directions and try things, which I'll be honest, I think they tried that with Nancy, but Nancy ended up being a screwball. So that's basically what I would say about that. If Nancy came in right now and had a pre-season, we would probably be okay and we'd probably love him. But at the end of the day, I just think the board just mistimed that so badly, and they brought him in, and they kind of scunnered themselves a wee bit, because it makes me think of them in bad stead. And I know they've done a lot for the club. I know they've, like, domestically, we've been very, very dominant, and it's been great and it's been fantastic. But again, the subject for change is we are not doing well in Europe. And would you not focus your whole entire thing on becoming very, very good in Europe? Because that's where the money is. That's where the money is. Selling players, yeah, that's great. We can sell players all day long to the Premier League, all day long to Serie A. We can sell players to the Bundesliga, no problem. That's great. We've already got that in the structure of Celtic. Now we need to get a structure of Celtic where we actually go and impress. And I think that's what we did last the season before that, with going toe-to-toe to Bayern Munich. And then after that, just completely just diminishing it and just downgrading the squad by letting players go and not recruiting properly. So yeah, this is the big deal for every Celtic fan, I would think, going forward. I know there's some Celtic fans out there that love the club no matter what, and that's great. That's the way that you should be. You should be happy supporting your club. But for me, I just panic about the future, because I'm a little bit of a future thinker. I'm thinking about the next step. And I think with the Robbie Keane scenario, I don't think that was the proper step that we should take. And I think the board realised that. And I think the board kind of had to step in with Dermot Desmond and say, look, that's not going to work, because the fans are revolting against it and they don't like it. And the one thing that you want is unity. I mean, that's the whole thing. The Brian Wilson, the interim chairman, was talking about there, CEO. He was basically saying that the club needs unity. That's why they got the Green Brigade back in, and they just basically talked to like a couple of the misfits of them, and that's fine. That's okay. We showed unity in that split, and it was great. But I think for the subject going forward, you're bringing in. You've not researched properly on this manager. You've not researched what the fans are believing in right now, and that is the reason why I think we've used this, not the excuse of Palestine, because it's a terrible thing that's happening over there. I mean, we need to be honest about this. It's terrible. It's genocide, and it's uncalled for. It's a terrible way to treat human beings, families, or anything like that. It's. But what I'm saying is it's football we're talking about here. If Robbie Keane is just basically getting into that job just because of his Irish contingency, then yeah, okay, that makes sense, because we're an Irish club. We are, we pride ourselves on the Irish kind of history that we have. But I think for things like political things, like stuff that's going on in other countries, I don't think it's really, really important towards a football manager. And I think for Robbie Keane's state of mind, he's only got a mind on him that basically wants to play football and win games. But would I say he was a strong enough candidate for this job? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's a yes man, and that's exactly what Dermot loves. He loves having yes men in there. He loves having his wee spies to basically come back and tell him. That's why if Robbie Keane got the job, we would have had people like Scott Brown, Johnny Hayes, maybe Darren O'Day. And it's very, 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 very Irish. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's very, very subject to whatever Dermot says goes. And we don't need that right now because every other club is evolving. Even the weir clubs are evolving, like your Bruges, your Bodo Glints, your, Ajax are starting to improve again. It's stuff like that get me. It's like smaller clubs are getting with the rhythm of things. Like, if they sell a player for like maybe 40 million, they'll invest that in their team. Whereas I think if Dermot Desmond gets about 30 million for Engels this season, he'll only invest about 10 million in the team. And the prices of players are going up and up and up and up and up. And we need to get with the programme. Because if we're going to go and... Now, I understand that we did spend about 25 million on players when Brendan Rodgers was there in a January window where we needed some players. But unfortunately, we had a terrible, terrible recruitment department in Tisdale. And Tisdale was only looking out for his fucking number one. And that was him. But I think we can do our business smartly. And I think we should go out and get players right now. Because we know we're going to recoup that for the money that we get. I wouldn't go selling players and then going to get players, because at the end of the day, you're not going to do your deals right. You need to be Celtic Football Club here. You need to go in and make deals and make stuff happen. And I think with the rebuild of Robbie Keane, I don't think Robbie Keane could have lasted a rebuild. And I think Sean Maloney and Martin O'Neill have maybe been talking about this during the season and seeing where they need to strengthen. They've been in that squad. They know where they need to strengthen. So I would rather have that than an inexperienced manager in Robbie Keane, who has coached in a one horse league, and obviously he's coached in Israel, and that's been it. It's not good for me. I don't think it's good enough for him, and I don't think his chance should be Celtic. I know Neil Lennon got his chance for Celtic and he did pretty well, but again, he left us because his ego got big. Robbie Keane will do the exact same if he got the job. Now, I'm not saying Robbie Keane can go anywhere else. He can go somewhere else and get his reputation up, and then maybe he can become Celtic manager. But we need a massive rebuild this season, and I don't see Robbie Keane being the man to do that. So yeah, that is why I'm coming on here to basically just, let it out. Really proud of Celtic for doing the double, but we need to start focusing now. The board need to work together. They need to get a recruitment team in there. They need to get somebody up there that maybe is a director of football that understands football and not business, understands the fans' needs and what they want, and not just think about themselves. I think this should be the way going forward. And I think we should go out there and we should just start buying players now, because, oh my God, even Hearts are starting to buy players. They're getting players in. You've got your Aberdeens and you've got all that, which is another point I'll come on to as well. This video might be a wee bit long because I've got quite a lot to talk about, because I've not been on for ages. And I know you've all missed me, that 1 or 2 or 3 people that watch me. So yeah, that's basically the other point I'm going to talk about as well. Whilst these other teams are strengthening, we are running behind. We're running behind because we've had to take 2 weeks to try to offer Martin O'Neill the fucking job back. And this is what astounds me the most. Again, I'll come back to that getting the job in the showers mentality. That's okay, as long as it's Martin O'Neill. That's alright, as long as it's Martin O'Neill. So yeah, that is basically it. That's basically my points of view. Whilst we are coming up in first gear, lot of teams in our league, like your Aberdeens, like your Hibs, like your Hearts, Rangers as well. Rangers I think have basically just stuck to Danny Rowe. they've stuck to Danny Rowe because at the end of the day, who else is out there to take the job? They're going to go down this rigmarole of trying to get somebody else in, and they're just going to be, they're going to have to try and rebuild themselves. So why get rid of a manager that knows what he wants in a team, and just maybe back him again? Because at the end of the day, you may as well. That's what I think with Celtic. What is the point in going out there and trying to get another manager who, or try and talk to managers that only want to come to the club because they've only get backed. They won't have their own team to support them. What is the point? None of these managers want that. So that's why I'm kind of saying, yeah, I'm glad we offered Martin O'Neill the job back. But we have to be smart, and we have to go out and buy players now. We have to focus on that. That's our main thing, is getting the rebuild started. I understand that players are still there, but you need to lose some money to make money. And that is exactly what I think Celtic should be doing right now. So anyway, yeah, there's my point of view. I'm sorry I've not been on here for ages. Like I said, I've been busy doing other things. Yeah, hopefully this starts back up again. But obviously the season is finished, but I just thought I'd do a preview or a little, like, you know, a little one-to-one, just me and you, talking about the almighty Celtic. Yes. Let's go again next season. Martin O'Neill's at the helm, so's Sean Maloney, so's Fozzie. Maybe Steve McManus is in there. I'm not really too sure. I've not heard much about him. But yeah, player transfers will be hitting the roof, obviously. Obviously not today, maybe Monday. We'll hear about more players leaving Celtic, and we'll probably, you know, start getting the ball rolling and getting players in for Celtic. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to think that we've got Martin O'Neill for the start of the season. And that's all I'll say about that. I love the guy. I absolutely love the guy. Build his statue right now. You know, I don't care what happens next season. Just build a statue for Martin O'Neill. And let's get going. Hopefully this board have got a fucking scalp in the arse with that Robbie Keane scenario. You know, they start focusing on the rider range of Celtic and just stop wanting our fucking money all the time. That is it. That's all any Celtic fan wants. They just want a wee bit of success in Europe. Not too much. We're not asking for a fucking title or anything like that, but just a progressive form that, you know, that we can win against small teams, and maybe win against like the mid-card teams in Europe. Obviously a couple of big results would be spot on, but you know, we can't dream that big, especially with this board. Anyway, thank you for watching. Remember, no say this now, well, remember, doing something means everything, and god damn it, I've done things. So this is a Sunday. This is an early morning that I've done this video, because, you know, I had it in my head. And if you're starting your week after tomorrow, just remember it's only 5 days, maybe 6, maybe 7, wherever you work. But those days will end, and you'll have a good time. And the World Cup's on as well next weekend, or Thursday it starts. It starts Thursday. So if you're watching any games, if you're supporting any teams, let me know. For me, obviously Scotland, I'll be supporting. But you know, I quite like the look of Brazil. I do. I think Brazil are going to sneak this. I think so. Portugal, because they've got a great midfield. You know, I know Ronaldo's like hitting 40, but at the end of the day, he's still a great player, and he's one of the players that are good. So I think maybe this will be his turn to get a World Cup. It was Messi's the last one, so this might be Ronaldo's turn. So yeah, thank you very much, and Jabba in the Hut out. Peace.